April is here, and good to have you all. So we will, in just a moment, begin with a prayer, but I'm going to take a moment to just, if we can all get clear, what is our intention today? What's our intention for being here? So in a moment in the chat, you can share that intention if you'd like, and also where you're joining from. So I'm going to get us started. So I'm in Rhode Island. And my intention is to be in the flow of love and inspiration. Yes. So while you are considering that, I will go ahead and begin with a prayer. So I think we got all the tech pieces in place, and I will begin with a prayer. Well, I am so, so grateful. I'm taking a nice deep breath. So grateful to pause and to partner up with the Holy Spirit, the mighty I am presence that is our true nature, our true limitless nature. So grateful for the Power of Love ministry, grateful for Jennifer Hadley, for this co-creation with Spirit to create a sacred container where brothers and sisters can come together and support each other in remembering the truth that sets us free, the truth about ourselves, that we are divine beings, and the truth that all of life is here to support us. And we are grateful to dedicate this time today at Sundays with Spirit to be an uplifting time, an inspirational time, an opportunity to further expand into the truth of our being. We are grateful that as we come together, we support the one mind, we support the atonement. So we let Spirit be in charge, we let Spirit have its way with us, and we are so grateful to go forward and spread the light, to spread the messages of love that touch us with everyone in our sphere. So in deep gratitude, we let this be, and so it is. Amen. Okay. So thank you, everyone. I am grateful to be here, and I am going to offer a few songs, a few simple songs that I can sing easily and effortlessly. And sometimes when I think of this, I go to like my lullaby album, like the songs I used to sing to put Justine to sleep. And so I'm going to start with a song. It's a Kundalini yoga mantra. That's one of my other passions and practices. And so in Kundalini yoga, we start with 2 opening chants. The first is Om Namo Gurudev Namo. And I'm going to sing a song, which is this chant. And when we sing this chant, the purpose of the chant is to partner up essentially with our higher self. And it also, in the tradition of Kundalini, it also links us to, it's the golden chain of teachers. It's kind of like the lineage, those who have taken that practice forward. So in this case, I feel like we partner up and we link to the one mind. So I'm going to sing a few verses of this, and that's all. I don't have a huge introduction that I am a famous musician or something, but I had just some fun experiences, like auditioning for talent shows. Like, oh, I can't even remember it now, but I've tried out for like American Idol and things like that in my area. And what was it? What was that Ed McMahon show? Okay, I'll think of it. something search. Anyway, so here we go. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Star search. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Om Namo. Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. So Om Namo Gurudev Namo. And we sing that, we speak that 3 times, we chant that 3 times before we start our Kundalini practice. So I thought we'll start with it. So thank you. And yes, so I will say that in terms of speaking today, as I shift gears, this is another one of those shower ideas, like got the idea in the shower, thought, yeah, I got to talk about this at Sundays with Spirit. So I have a shower idea I'm going to share. And I signed up for like September 7th to share it. But then today became like we needed somebody today. So I'm like, okay, we'll do it today. So today is brought to you by Shower Inspiration. And it is a follow-up to Jennifer's, what Jennifer presented 2 weeks ago, where if you were here and you participated in a visioning for our Million Acts of Forgiveness campaign that we have just begun to talk about. We've just begun to launch it. And I want to share a little bit more about it because I have been a part of it as well. I have been there, I think, in all the meetings when Jennifer first mentioned it to the point of launching that baby. You know, being on Jennifer's staff, it's like this lady is trying to birth creative babies like way more than one every 9 months. You know, it's like her creativity is pretty nonstop. And we as a staff are like, okay, it's like we're trying to birth babies all over, you know, it's like, okay. And then we're trying to take care of all the babies that we birthed and keep like launch her creations out in the world. So I would like to share a little more about that campaign from my perspective. And also I will share the shower idea that I got and how I would personally like to contribute to the momentum of that project. And hopefully in the process of sharing all that, also just go not refreshing, but anchoring into the idea of forgiveness is our function, and just coming back around to that again, just marinating in that for a little bit, because I feel like, as the Course tells us that forgiveness is our function, it can be really helpful for us to just talk about that, to be in that remembrance together. So that's what I would like to embark on for this period. So what I will say about the Million Acts of Forgiveness. So as Jennifer brought the vision. And again, if it's your first time hearing about it, essentially Jennifer said that Spirit gave her an idea over 10 years ago that she would be able to create something like a platform where individuals and communities would have a central place, like a resource to inspire acts of forgiveness around the world. So what she has shared with us in this vision is, she said she imagined that, let's say for me, and I'm going to share a little bit about my personal inspiration of focus for forgiveness. Let's just say it's like me, and it's about something like a relationship, and it's, for me, it's my marriage. Let's say I'm having challenges in my marriage. I could go to this resource and I could read about other people's testimonials applying forgiveness in their marriage and the effect that it had. And I would even be able to maybe reach out to people or have support, but it could even be at the community level, where there was something like a school shooting or something like that. How did the community come together? And how did they come together and create a response that was based in forgiveness? And so you'd be able to say, oh, we got this resource. We've had this tragedy in our community. There is this resource where other people have come together and responded in this loving way. And there would be a demonstration. So it would just be that what we have learned is not only our function, but it's like our pathway to freedom, and it's our pathway to experience the gifts of God. We would be taking that would be a little more of a public experience, something that would be a bit more out in mainstream. So that was her vision, that she would create a platform, a resource. So she told us that, like, in a meeting at some point. And Amanda Snyder on our team, who has a very grounding energy, she started to say, what would be the first steps? What could we do? And Jennifer said she got this idea of billion acts of forgiveness, that her life would be about inspiring billion acts of forgiveness. And then someone was like, should we take that back to 1 million? Because, now we're trying to apply things like SMART goals, like measurable, attainable. We're like, is this something? And Jennifer's like, I don't care what number we use. I don't mind. So we're now at the 1 million acts of forgiveness. If we cruise past it, we can expand it. And so Amanda Snyder grounded it and started giving us, like, talking us through first steps. What are the first steps we can take? And then we started by, we can create a survey. We can create a tool, something that can actually collect documented acts of forgiveness, just as a starting point. Like, if we're trying to get 1 million, should we get like 100 first? Should we start getting a few? And so that's where we began. And then we got inspired to say, really, how can we involve the community? Because it's kind of one of those things where it can be not, it's not difficult to promote something, but it's powerful to promote something when the inner core is strong and solid. And then, like, those of you who are here, then we become the antenna, like, out in the world, taking this with us. It doesn't mean we're going to door to door. We're going to go door to door. But I'm going to take a side step here for a second, that I will say, and I'm curious if anyone here, I want to kind of see everyone's face. I have had people coming to my home door to door recently. I can think of 2 occurrences where people were coming to, one time they were coming to tell me something about how Jesus would want me to respect my husband. It was a very interesting. It was a religious group who were like, would you like to know the answer to your your family issues? And I was like, oh, well, you know what? I feel like I got a good jumpstart on this, because I know that my husband, I'm one with him. And I know that he is the light of the world. And and then I just kind of throw out all my course stuff, like I got this, you guys. And the last one who came, they were more coming from, I think they were really trying to support people with depression. And they were saying things like, would you like to know how to find inner peace? I'm like, again, I'm like, well, I know not to put my peace of mind in this world. And I don't know if any of you feel that way, because if you're like me, we put a lot of emphasis, like, I'm very invested in my spiritual growth. So when people come to say almost like, do you need a beginner's kit to this? And I'm like, I'm good. I am good on this. And it doesn't mean I'm not open to learn, but this idea, like, I am fully fulfilled in spiritual community. It's kind of like up to my eyeballs in potential spiritual gatherings and meetings and such. So we don't have to go door to door telling everyone, do you want to know how you can forgive truly? That may not be effective, but I will say this. This is what I'm here to say. I was inspired to, number one, I am going to be leading forgiveness workshops in my community, like in person. So I am taking that one step. It feels very natural to me. I work at a yoga studio where they have all types of events going on. They're super open to everything. And I'm excited to lead in-person forgiveness workshops and just bring the course's perspective on forgiveness out in my world and begin to have conversations with people about it. And I'm really excited. I see myself doing a little bit of framing, but sharing Jennifer's forgiveness letter template with everyone. And like she's doing in her monthly forgiveness workshops, having people begin to actually fill it out and get a feel for it, and then see what comes up and have discussions. So that's one of the things I am committed to doing, is a monthly forgiveness workshop in my area. I'm very excited. I haven't taught an in-person workshop in years. I took quite a break after having Justine. And so that was one of the ideas, and that's one thing I'm doing. And the next thing, which is the shower idea, which, I get these ideas often. So the idea that came to me in the shower was, you know what? I am going to commit to 1,000 acts of forgiveness, and I'm going to do a daily act of forgiveness for 1,000 days. This is my classic thing. I get these. I remember when my daughter was younger, and I heard about 1,000 hours outside movement. This is a movement where a woman came up with the idea that let's track 1,000 hours children are spending outside without screens, because she started to say that the average child was watching 3 hours of TV a day. And she said, what if we start a movement for tracking 3 hours outside a day? And so she came up with the 1,000 hours campaign. So I did that with Justine when she was 3 years old. And we started tracking and we had fun with it. And it really did change our life. We didn't get it that first year. We were like 971. And I was like, counting it as a win, claiming it as close enough. And then it really did change the trajectory of, because we are now homeschoolers, that we are really into like these nature-based meetups and nature groups. And it was helpful because I didn't grow up as a nature girl as much as an athletic, sporty girl. So this helped. It helped to connect us to people in our community who are out in nature, who it's a priority for. So, okay, so that was 1,000 hours outside. I set out to do 1,000 days of the Kirtan Kriya, which was a nightly meditation in the community. And we blew the doors off that thing. We were at like 1,600 days when I just recently stepped back for the summer at least. So I have something in me that likes these long quests and it can feel a bit egoic at times, like, okay, well, why do you need to even, if a healed mind doesn't plan, potentially a healed mind doesn't do 1,000-day quests. But I like the idea because of something that I've realized recently. Because yet another quest I was on this summer was I felt inspired to do the whole summer, to do like a physical cleansing purification thing. So that was another inspired idea, like you should do like this for this long. So I've been doing that and I have seen a lot of benefit. I have seen that it feels like I feel really relaxed in my body. My body feels like really calm. I have other practices that I do, but they're all working together, I trust, to arrive at this unbotherable place that we talk about in Masterful Living, where Jennifer had said that 1 year in the year-long program of Masterful Living, that one of the participants said, my goal this year is to be unbotherable. And that became a famous word that she refers to, that we are, that we respond truly with love. We are responding with love in versus reacting from fear. So I have found that of this summer, this quest has been really supporting me, highly supportive. So I find that these inspired ideas I get, they do feel like they're moving me toward something helpful and they're a bit fun. I wasn't the nature girl, I was the sports girl. I was like games, fun, teams. That was my childhood, honestly, and my early adult years. I was a competitive athlete. So I think I like a quest and I like a game. So when I got this idea, 1,000 acts of forgiveness, I felt excited because I have been in a rhythm where I've done that more consistently. And even April, who's here, it's like we used to swap forgiveness, like what arrived for us from doing a forgiveness practice. So we do have Jennifer's tool, the forgiveness letter, which in her instructions, she says to take 45 minutes to write a full letter. I feel like when you commit to a daily rhythm, you find ways to kind of to shorten it, to be manageable for a daily process. So I'm curious to see what it will look like for me, but for me, my commitment is that each time I find myself, here's how I distinguish it. My mind is going to judge. It's going to have judgments. It's going to have that natural judgment, but that's different from me being triggered when I get upset or when I think something should be different. And it even happened today. I swear, like, I don't know about you, but if you ask me, when have you been triggered? It's likely in the past 24 hours. And it may not be like super triggered. I'm in the corner crying unconsolably, but it means I got irked. I got irritated. I was frustrated. I think it's totally normal. And I love to have a bit of a microscope. I like to have a microscope where it's like every day I put something under the lens and I look at it closely, like, what were you thinking and believing at the time when you got triggered? What did that bring up? Because that, for me, if it's a judgment that I hooked for even a few minutes, I'm like, ooh, there's still some attachment there that I have to a belief. So what happened earlier is, in all honesty, I asked my husband very loosely. I didn't say, can you help me at, 5 o'clock? I need you to take Justine to our friend's house. I just had asked him, are you going to be around? Because I'm going to be tied up for a few hours in the afternoon and I will likely need some help, or I'd like some help. And he said, I'll be home. So then when it came time to sort the details out, I was like, okay, I had set up this arrangement, but just today that Justine could go with a friend. And I said, okay, she just needs to be there around 5. And he said, oh, I'm going to be gone before that. I want to go to this other thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I noticed I responded like, you're going to, and then my mind went to a bunch of stories. Like, you're going to another thing. You just went to 2 things this weekend. You're going to all the things. And I said something like, you're going to a lot of things. And he's like, oh, it's my last weekend before he goes back to work. He's been on kind of like disability. He had an injury, but he'll be going back to work full time. So I think he's like, it's my last weekend of freedom, is what he was thinking. But then in my mind, not very strong, probably because I'm so subdued on all the herbal tea and honey and all the nutrition. I'm so relaxed. But I was like, I did hear the stories. They're just not as loud. It's like, sure, just go to more things. I'll just figure it out by myself. I'll figure it out. And I think I said, because I was kind of like, oh, this isn't going my way. Now you want to do something? I had just wanted to hold you in my little window where I might need you. And then I wanted to give you an assignment, you know? And he's like, no, I have this other plan. So it's just, it wasn't loud, but it was really like stories that I can tell you that feel very old, like stories like, I'm doing everything by myself. I'm doing so much by myself. You are leaving me by myself. You are doing whatever you want. This is what, and it can be a bit, honestly, it's referring to like my own childhood, like honestly, like men do what they want and the women have to stay. That's not the case in every family. I know that's true, but these stories come to me in moments where I don't get my way. And when I reflected, I soon reflected like, wow, I didn't actually give him any specifics. So I get it. But I went to this thing of, I'll figure it out. Do what you want. I'll figure it out. Not, I mean, not swearing, not throwing dishes, not terrible. And really quickly, I caught myself. But if I were to remember, my function is forgiveness, and forgiveness is letting go of the meaning we make, then there's just a lot more space for me to take responsibility. Like, oh, okay, that didn't go my way, but you know why? Okay, I could have. And I had so much going on today that I was lining things up a bit later on. I was a bit in the flow, and he does much better if I give him things straight up. So I can recognize like, oh, I bet that could have been more of a win if I had communicated ahead of time. That I can own. And you know, what was present too is it just felt like I wanted to like punish him for not doing what I wanted and be that, I don't know if you call it passive aggressive or just, and, you know, in the end, I went to take Justine to her friend's house, and I thought he already left for what he wanted to go to. And he came back and he took her. And it's like, okay, it didn't matter that I got my way. What mattered was like, I relied on old stories because and old stories are not what spirit could have, like spirit's present in the moment. In the moment, there's an opportunity there. Even in the moment, I just know that what Jennifer teaches us is like, okay, like if I were to talk to a prayer partner, that's not a huge deal. We didn't even fight. It's just that I noticed that I did that where I said, yeah, do whatever you want. I'll figure it out. Like you go be irresponsible. I'll be responsible. A little bit of that was there. A little bit of that. I snuck that in there. That's not very helpful. Doesn't necessarily help my marriage get more harmonious or loving. And yet I'm also not guilting myself like I did something wrong. Just noticing. That's what I think being committed to forgiveness as a daily practice is, noticing. Wow. There's so much I can notice. Like I did not like plan ahead very well. And I did not communicate very well. That's still something I'm learning. But in truth, I didn't even really know exactly what I needed, because I was just trying to keep up with all the things that came up in my day, in meeting Justine's needs and mine, and going to the commitments we had. And so here we are. But if when I'm committed to a daily forgiveness practice, maybe that's not even the one that I would have put under the microscope, just to look at more clearly. And we're not looking at these things to make ourselves wrong. We're just like, what was available that I couldn't see? And did I close my heart down when I could have paused? Did I ask Spirit what to say? When I'm still not asking Spirit what's mine to say or do, I'm relying on my own, basically old stories and interpretations. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And the other thing that I have learned is, when I can get this shower ideas, like, yeah, go do this quest, if I make a public announcement, it's helpful to me, because maybe it's a way that Spirit helps set it into motion, but it also is that accountability piece, like, oh, you just tell everybody. And it's not that I'm going to need to send all of you daily updates and reports, just that I wanted to be someone in the community that was committed to getting momentum around this vision in the way that I could. Amanda has done a beautiful job, like grounding an idea and putting it into something that, like, a form people can participate in. And I thought, well, I like doing these daily commitments, so I can do that. So that's what I wanted to share. And I thought, just to pull up, if you go to the concordance for A Course in Miracles about forgiveness, you get about, for forgiveness, I got 697 results, like 697 places that, everywhere it's mentioned. But it said this is one of them that I took. And this is from workbook lesson 134. Let me perceive forgiveness as it is. And right at the bottom, it says, forgiveness should be practiced through the day, for there will still be many times when you forget its meaning and attack yourself. When this occurs, allow your mind to see through this illusion and tell yourself, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Would I accuse myself of doing this? I will not lay this chain upon myself. In everything you do, remember this: no one is crucified alone, and yet no one can enter heaven by himself. So I love that Jennifer is giving us, this opportunity to, as I see it, build some momentum and take this out in the world in a real way. Just like her whole thing is about living the love and walking the talk. And so this is just for you to take into your own heart in your own way, that I see it like this. I have listened to, I don't know, thousands of hours of Jennifer's teachings over the years. I'm not sure, but it seems like it. And I have, in some ways, I'm very visibly supporting her. I'm here, I work on her staff. But in many ways, she supports my life. She lets me, like, I get to work in this ministry, which is so rewarding. And I just wanted to have a very clear way that I was supporting her in this vision. So that's really what I wanted to share today. And yes, it is, because when I take that moment to forgive my husband, then it really is, I'm not laying a chain on him. it's not like I'm going around laying chains on people, basically, so that he walks away feeling like, I left her hanging again. Like I failed again. I failed again. I don't want to be like putting chains all over people so they go around with those on them, you know? It's like we are the ones who can remove them. And when we take them off of another, then we're not wearing it, you know? That simple concept of like, yeah, if I put someone in jail and make them wrong, usually you can't just put someone in jail. You got to have someone like a guard watching them. So then you're like, well, you're in jail too if you got to watch them. No one's going out and having fun. You know, everyone's stuck in jail. So that's what I felt inspired to do. So that will be my quest to begin at a natural time, because I think for me, as the fall approaches, it almost feels like to me, fall is like my beginning of the year. It's like where I like to restart things. That feels like a renewal, even though for some people that's spring, for some people it's the beginning of the year. So I will be working this in to get my daily rhythm going. And for sure, if I'm here, I will let you know how I'm doing, or if I can do a little update. Yes, but that's what I felt inspired to share today. So thank you for listening. Thank you. And I will just place my hand on my heart and let's see what spirit guides us to take in here. Nice deep breath. Just so very grateful to be the two or more gathered. And in this moment, I just feel touched because it is like we are keeping the message of Jesus alive. Like Jesus's teachings are still so powerful and so strong that here we are gathering once again to remember that our function on this in this world, on this planet, at this time, is to spread the message that we are one with our brother and sister, and to remember that we are here to represent He who sent us. And He who sent us, who loves us unconditionally, offers us this gift of being the innocent ones, the ones that are free. We are not bound with chains of guilt. We are not bound with regret and doubt. Yes, we experience those things. Yes, we have moments of that. It's that we know we don't need to carry that. It's not the truth of ourselves. So I'm so grateful to be here now, continuing the teachings of the Ascended Masters. Grateful to be having experiences, those mountaintop experiences of freedom. And we are called to be the teachers of God. We are called to represent in the way that we commit our lives to forgiveness. And that can look different for each of us, just that we do take a moment now to affirm our willingness to know our function is forgiveness. And in forgiving, we are given everything. We are given our freedom. So we continue to open our minds and hearts, letting this remembrance of our function guide our daily actions, our daily words, making sure we have a commitment to forgive ourselves again and again and again and again and again, to give us that muscle to be able to forgive others. And we are grateful to Jennifer for her willingness, her courage, her love of self to share her visions with us, her beloved community, that she has dedicated her life to these teachings, to spreading them, to embodying them. And she is asking that we do the same, because we will also receive the gifts of God. So we are grateful to join in peace, to go forth in peace. And we spend just a moment in the quiet. Let's just see if there's anything else to be felt, to be heard. And I'm just feeling that the stillness has something to offer us. So a few more breaths here. Okay, and I don't know if I can be so bold, but my brother Ted Schwartz, is there anything you would like to offer here? Because I'm not getting anything, and you offered, and maybe this is your moment. Is that okay?
Sure. I, I have a couple of forgiveness songs that I play that we've heard. This is my 45th opportunity. I mean, so I've played here a few times, and you know, can I add a little something?
Of course, yes, be free.
You know, I go through this track to help me understand forgiveness. God is. God created us in His image and likeness. And we, in this experience, we're having a prodigal son experience. We're given total freedom to experience what it is to believe we can separate ourselves from God, or we can separate ourselves from one another. And that prodigal experience is equal to all of us. So what one person does, what the other person does, no matter what form it takes, it still has it doesn't change who we are in the love of God and in who we are in our oneness. This particular song came to me and it's the only song I've ever written that came to me in a dream, but it's when I was really trying to work some big forgiveness lessons out in my life. And to tell you how amazing it came to me, I mean, I literally woke up, this was decades ago, and I only had a battery-operated tape recorder. I got up in the middle of the night, the song came to me, I wrote it, recorded it just on a cassette tape, went to bed, got up in the morning. I remembered I got up and wrote a song, but I could not remember any of it till I went down and played the cassette. But what I learned in forgiveness, because I had a big forgiveness job to do at that time. But I'm going to share it with you, and this is. It's a shame, it's a pity, bloodshed in a poor city by an angry young man. There's an outrage and fury, courtroom and jury, the boy's sentenced to die. In the bars they're rejoicing, buying drinks and they're toasting as the mothers cry. What can we do, me and you? What can we do in this world torn in two? Cross town in a small office, a young woman's focused on an unborn life. Window crashes in the room, the blast is their doom, and more mothers cry. As ships on new horizon are guided by wise men protecting our lives. Their call is no surprise, let the rockets fly, and more mothers cry. What can we do, me and you? What can we do in a world torn in two? On a cross upon a hill, living out his father's will, the young man dies. Friends gather round and stare at the mother's fallen tears under blackened skies. And they sigh, what can we do, me and you? What can we do in a world torn in two? And the mother cries, we love, we love, we love, we love. We love, we love, we love, we love, we love, we love. Isn't that amazing? And I take no credit for that, I'm telling you. It was truly a gift.
Thank you, Ted. So beautiful. I'm so happy to know the story about that. I don't know if I've heard that before.
Well, thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to share it, you know. I give all the glory to above. Just because I can write the songs, doesn't mean I have to have a music career. I can just share what I can when I can. And Jennifer has really given me that opportunity, and it's much appreciated.
Thank you, Ted. What a blessing. Because it really feels like we're in church. We're like, give God the glory. We're in church. We get to be in church. Ah, thank you. Well, this is our opportunity to take this into small discussion rooms just to share what's on your heart, anything that touched you in any way, anything about forgiveness being your function, anything you want to say about it or ask about it. Or this is our chance to take the message into your own life. And in small groups, we just give everybody a chance to share and listen with an open heart and an open mind. And yeah, April is ready to go. So if you get the invitation to join your breakout room, please do. And we'll be back in 12 minutes. And it always takes us just a moment to get that all sorted out. Oh, and thank you, April, for that. Ted, thank you. Wow. I feel very moved. I feel like that's like a very powerful, like activism. Um,
It has a purpose, I'm sure. You know, I'm knocking on 74 right now, and there are days I literally break into tears because I see the value that these songs have meant to me. And I mean, and I wrote them, and but it's not that type of thing. Every one was to guide me through a lesson, and they're powerful. I mean, that's a crazy powerful song. And when I go into the text, and especially if I read something, any of the lessons about how to process, because one thing I have learned is that through the text is that the opposite of love, of course, they say is fear, right? Well, all fear comes from a value that we give on something that we feel is threatened, that we have to protect. No matter what form it takes. If it's a tiger, you know, it's because we value our existence. We value our lamb that the tiger's going to attack. And I have to remind myself continuously that no matter how big or how small, anytime something comes up, if I go right to why I have a value on what's threatened, be it when you were talking about, you know, the timing of needing people in the right place at the right time, it's because we value the security that our children are going to have, or what was going to be the occasion for our outing. And all of the defensiveness, you know, for myself is how much value I put on it. So when the grandkids, especially the little ones, come running into my guitar room, how much value do you think I put on this stuff? You know, these are guitars that take me a lifetime to, you know, to acquire. And it does tell me how much work I have to do, because it's not. As long as I'm valuing that, as long as I'm valuing this music, as long as I'm valuing my car, you know, that it's a door ding. It creates a judgment. It creates an act of forgiveness to return to love. So, like I mentioned earlier, I always go back to say, you know, if God would say to us, yeah, I love you. I am love. and you are created in my image, in my likeness. Except for if you do this, except for this. No, that's not how it works. We are loved, beloved, lovable for eternity. Our prodigal journey is just bringing us to a light, a knowing, an understanding that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what form it takes, by who. You can't, you may not like the president. You may not like your dog catcher, You may not like the way somebody cuts your grass. It doesn't make a difference what form it takes. If that's their prodigal experience, it's equal. It's equal to me, it's equal to you, it's equal to everyone. And the more value we put on it, it's just a reflection of how much we don't trust that we're loved. Those are the kind of things that I have to stir, because I grew up in the riots of Detroit. If and I am, I've had some tough experiences, but I know I can't put a value on what I felt they took from me, stolen from me, beat out of me, whatever. Putting a value on it is the experience I called for in my prodigal gift, because that's what that whole prodigal son story is about. It's the gift of being able to experience what it would be like if we could be separate. But it's only a dream. It's only, as the Course tells us, it's only an imaginary thing. I'm talking too much, ain't I? So, Angela, thank you for allowing me to come and play. When I got the email, it said that there was no musical guest. I was like, here you go. Talk about, it's like, why didn't they call me? It was a forgiveness. There it is. It's like, I'm not appreciated. They don't need me. They don't want me. They know I'm here. And look at all that stuff that I did to myself. And the fact is that no, I trust you so much. I said, no, she's got her own music lined up. She doesn't need me. And I trust it. And I'm happy. My wife, and it ends up kind of, here you go, a little gift.
Yeah.
I have, this old dog and two little kids, and it's a Sunday, and they just happen to be busy and allowed me to even, otherwise, this dinner on Sunday, it's kind of a toughie, Well, you got a family, Okay, I'm gonna stop talking.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you. Because I feel like Jennifer has made me more aware of not the trick, but when you're about like singing about the Word of God, or like for her, just repeating the teachings, offering the teachings to others, you just reinforce it for yourself. It's all just such a self-giving gift that you're like, win-win situation here, and I'm getting to that point where I see that in so many people. Like Bo will be great, because the truth is, there are times when coordinating someone takes a little more effort than just doing it yourself. And it can be that if things happen in a certain way in the ministry in a week, that we're like, because I even think Jennifer said, just call Ted. And I might have been like, okay. And then just when I came around to needing to provide an answer, who's doing what, it was like, I hadn't had a chance, So I was like, we got this. We got it. And that's kind of how it honestly went, is, it's but when I've ever asked Bo to step in, she's like, oh, it'd be my honor. And I always feel so tickled that she would say that. It's because I'm thinking, oh, you're being so helpful. Thank you so much. And she's like, oh, it's my deepest honor. So it's like you get to a point where the people who are sharing, it's just because they get it. There's a secret encoded gift. Just like if you're the one who prays for everyone, that prayer runs through your system. You're vibrating at that prayer. When the prayer's over, it stays with you. You're in that vibration. So you having done that beautiful song and doing all the songs, you're vibrating at that frequency. And that is so yummy to the spirit, right? So yummy and nourishing. And yeah, and honestly, I had such little time to prepare for this but I've learned just show up in the spirit. And I really am finally getting to this place where I don't have to plan that much. That took a while, but it's a blessing because the idea that I can trust life and that my brain doesn't do that thing where it like tries to scare me. Like sometimes it'll do that, like you're going to forget, you won't be able to connect your thoughts. But I'm like, dude, pressing forward because I have a strong trust in this now. And that's the thing that we want the most is we can actually trust and you can't say it enough that it doesn't sound over spoken or cheesy but it's like this stuff is true. So thank you for sharing. You came in the perfect time when I was seeking, like, what am I singing now? Because I didn't have a plan. I'm like, I don't got nothing coming. I would have had to look up lyrics. I was like, I think this is Ted's moment, you know.
My
It's working
pleasure.
out.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I saw in the chat that Jennifer's like, I'll do 1,000. I'm like, what? Now I have a teammate? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, when you mentioned that, when you first said it, my mind went like 1,000. But in all honesty, I mean, I started checking through my list of today. I mean, 60.
I know, because in truth, this act of forgiveness, it's, how there's no big or small. It doesn't mean, oh, someone broke in my house and I forgave them and I wrote a report on it. No, it's every chance, everything. It's every chance that you like, it's almost like when you go to Hawaii. When you go to Hawaii, you get like a lei with flowers and love instead of you get chains of guilt. It's like, what are you going around in the world laying on people? Is it like a gift of love, or it's like a chain of guilt? Great. Well, everyone's coming back. I'm grateful. We got a couple more seconds or something. Yes, but this service is flowing so beautifully. I just was so grateful. I had trust and yes, and we wouldn't have a service without you all. Okay, we're back. I know sometimes you get cut off. You don't get to finish what you're saying, which is a bummer. Okay, so we're fully arriving. Yay. So great to see everybody. So thank you for participating in the breakout. And if anyone has something they want to share, I opened it up. Any comment or question anything you want to share from your breakout, that would be like a little share, welcoming that. If you want to do it publicly, cool. If you want to put it in the chat, great. I don't know, where is Jennifer? Did Jennifer have to leave? Because I'm just like, she said she's going to do 1,000 acts of forgiveness. Maybe she had to go because she had to do her first one. We didn't even put it in the chat yet. We had to give her the form. Okay. So yes. Okay, Nancy, you can always count on Nancy. Thank you, Nancy, for offering a highlight from your breakout. Okay. Yep. You are unmuted.
Oh, hi. I'm off screen because my hair is all gone. Anyway, from the chemo.
No problem.
I with one thing, it's not a some, um, uh, could you just explain or repeat what you said about what define what forgiveness is, clarify what forgiveness is? Um, that would help someone.
Okay. I use Jennifer's, I'm going to default to Jennifer's definition as I have heard her share it,
Correct.
that
Yes.
forgiveness is letting go of the meaning that we made of something. And when I explain this to my daughter's friend's mother, who's not in this community, I said to her, because it can happen that something happens, whether we're a victim of a situation or we are attacked in any way or we're victimized, that situation happens. And often on top of that goes our interpretation. Why sometimes it comes up that, oh, this happened to me because I was such an idiot. I didn't see the signs. I'm such an idiot. This happened to me because I only attract painful things. I don't know how to attract love. That means I'm not lovable. I can't seem to attract good things. Good things don't happen to me. Bad things happen to me. I must be getting punished. I must be bad. We have all these stories that come up that we tag on to circumstances so that we keep re-traumatizing and re-afflicting ourselves with the pain because we keep the stories going, because we haven't forgiven. Because if we forgive, we declare a willingness to let go of the stories. I have heard it shared in this way that I really like, which is this idea of no add-ons. So like a healed mind can experience a variety of painful things, and a healed mind, would not add on an interpretation. It doesn't mean you're wrong to have questions or need support if something traumatic happened. It's just that a forgiven mind and our goal to forgive would be not to add on an interpretation of the why it happened, because we would be defaulting to everything's working together for good, even that crazy thing or that difficult thing. If we have a healed mind, not all of us are ready to accept everything as a blessing. So we utilize the practice of forgiveness to arrive there, and it can take however long it takes. Is that helpful?
Yes. Yes. Every time I hear it, but this was, yes. I'm hoping it was. I can't tell if the person has left or not, but anyway, thank you.
Thank you for asking, because, anybody want to add something to that for anyone listening, what you would contribute to what forgiveness is? Okay, let's take Dean and then Ted, just so we have more opportunities.
Sorry.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
just summarize what you said. There's what happened, and then there's a story we make up about what happened, and somehow enlightenment is just being with what happened and not making a story out of it somehow, because it's a story that disempowers us. I just, for a brief example, I was a physical therapist and I did home visits, and I had this one 90-some-year-old lady. She was well up there, and she fell down. And all she could talk about every time I went to see her is why she fell down. She couldn't figure out why she fell down. It's like she had done something wrong. And I'm thinking to myself, geez, lady, you're 90-some years old and you fell down. I mean, where's the mystery? and but it was just interesting to me. Here I am all these decades later, and I remember her because she was just worrying herself to death over what is almost like, what did I do wrong that I fell? She did nothing wrong, right? She's 95 some years old and she fell. That's just what happened. Anyway, that's what I had to
Beautiful.
share.
The beautiful example. I'm grateful to hear another way. We need to hear it various ways for it to arrive sometimes. Thank you, Dean. Good. Ted, please.
During the breakouts, when we were having our breakout, the only way I was able to make that leap from the word meaning, it's because we give meaning to things, is I use value. And I find that I have to, what is it I'm valuing? What is it that I feel that's being threatened? Do I feel that I'm losing by this? And it takes you a little bit on a different detour on answering the questions of what I'm giving meaning when you say value, for me. And it's just a simple little thing, but when you study values, or when you study forgiveness, if you get the words meaning or whatever, think values, then my attachment, I can't say what your approach will be, but my approach when I did that, I could clearly see from the value I was putting on what was offensive to me or judged me, or giving me resistance, was this value. And then I realized that some of it is just old past, old school, just some of it's just hissy fits, just to do those things. But so that was just my little method of understanding the meaning I was putting on something. It was what value was I putting on this that caused me to judge them, that they needed to be forgiven. That makes sense.
Yes, that's the step before of why we need the forgiveness, because we valued the valueless, and we forgive ourselves for forgetting what is valuable. Thank you. And Mary, thank you for what you put in the chat, because again, that's helpful to have it be like a rhyme. Drop the story, live the glory. Thank you. Because that can be the way it clicks for someone. Great. Okay, Nancy, I see you have your hand up. We have to move forward. Do you have a final thought here, or is it something you want maybe I can talk to you about longer afterwards? Let me know.
No, it's the thing. Remember the story, the thing you said, the illustration. If you're judging somebody for something, which I did with my mother for decades, it's like putting the person in the cell. You have the key. You lock them in, but you have to stay there. You're chained to them as long as you keep them in. It's the negative energy. You keep repeating the negative energy, and still they're still in the cell. So were you.
Right.
And when you turn the key and let them out, you are free to go to it. And then
Right.
that's, yeah. It all has to do with the energy and everything. So.
Thank you, Nancy. You are a beautiful example of the happy learner, committed to the healing. Okay, we'll move forward. Thank you, everyone. I'm so glad to hear from you. We're really anchoring into what this means, because it's really important to our community. So I'm just going to share a few announcements. Of course, the first is, if you feel inspired to support the ministry through this for this service, we have obviously an opportunity to donate, but also I got to get the link for, I will by the end of the service, the link to participate in the Million Acts of Forgiveness campaign, because we are just gathering momentum in different ways. So one of the ways is you can make a one-time donation. You can be a monthly contributor, which I signed up for because I was like, I want to be, you got to go first. You got to be, you got to be on board with what you're sharing. So I'm doing the monthly contribution, and then it's any amount from $10 to whatever. And then also an opportunity to provide a scholarship for someone. So we will put that link in the chat. I don't know, April, if you have that, but I will get that in there. Okay. We do have upcoming for programs. we have our Stop Playing Small. So Stop Playing Small is coming up on Friday, September 5th. And that is the 2 long weekends. And that program is honestly the one I can't wait to do when I have the appropriate ability to focus on a whole weekend to myself for 2 weekends. Because I just get the sense that you get to really remove a lot of barriers and blocks and explore those limitations that you have allowed or you've believed. And it's very powerful. You get a lot of time in breakouts with other participants, lots of time, not just to sit and listen, but to do your healing. So Stop Playing Small is coming up September 5th. And then it's followed by Finding Freedom. So we're right into like our program season where we go right up to the end of the year. Finding Freedom, I think, takes us into basically Thanksgiving. And geez, what's happening? Geez. And then our next forgiveness workshop is at the end of September. So we have quite a lot of time for you to sign up for that. So that is September 27th. And I think those are 3 announcements I can make. And Ted, you got your guitar in hand, buddy. I'm going to let you do our closing song, and feel free to say any any announcement you have, if you have one. And thank you so much for your impromptu stepping in.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. No, the only announcements I have, of course, the first Monday of the month, we have we call a grief group, a bereavement group, to talk through losses that we have in our lives, from pets, children, spouses, losses. And of course the men's group, and we are looking to go weekly on the men's group on Wednesdays, and have a place where ladies, if you've got husbands that are kind of curious what it means, they can pop in. We've got some nice men there. We promise we'll treat them gently. And that's it for me, announcement wise. And if you want a song, yes, no? Do you want it now? Okay. This is a forgiveness song. Riverbank, I watch waters roll by that could wash away tears of mine. On shore the burden seems so much more. Love is all the river's asking for. No matter how hard I try, no matter how great my stride, drowning in a sea of grief as love's river sings to me. Let love's river carry you, wash your tears away. Let love's river carry you, forgiveness is the way. So I set my anchor on the shore with my long chain of pride. Fell to my knees, forgiveness washed over me, felt love's spirit come alive. Peace and tranquility replace the sea of grief. Now I wade in waters of grace as love's river sings to me. Let love's river carry you, wash your tears away. Let love's river carry you, forgiveness is the way. carry you, let it wash your tears away. Let love's river carry you, forgiveness is the way.
Thank you, Tad.
Thank you.
Forgiveness songs in your back pocket. I am so lucky. Oh, thank you everyone for being here. I'm thanking you, April, for being our support. Thanks for holding it down. I could be more relaxed. Thank you for coming. Thank you for those of you who fully participated and supporting us all to remember our function. So we can close with a prayer. And I'm so grateful to place my hands on my heart. I'm so grateful to be in this flow of love. So grateful we are choosing this more and more. So grateful we are valuing being loving, which is the absence of judgment. We are valuing to be non-judgmental. We are valuing to let our interpretations soften and fade. And they may exist. Maybe they never disappear, but we see them clearly as just one option. We are grateful that we are more willing to step into the moment, the present moment, the holy instant, where we would partner up and we would ask, what is ours to say? How can we represent He who sent me here? So it's happening. Our minds and hearts are healing. We are experiencing heaven on earth. We are grateful to be the ones who are, and we are grateful to go out in the world and through our vibration, our frequency, our words, our actions, our loving gaze, our loving presence to offer that to the world. So in deep, deep gratitude, we go forward to shine bright as the light. And we claim this as done, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. Love and blessings. Thank you for being here.